Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to thank you all for taking the time to participate in the Region 3 monthly webinar. I know how valuable all your time is, so we work hard to ensure that all these trainings we host meet your needs and exceed your expectations. Just want to let you know that there will be a time of general Q&A at the end of this presentation, so please hold any questions you may have until then. Our topic today is developing and using social media. It goes without saying that effective leadership of our centers and projects today relies heavily on technology. And increasingly, that technology seems to include social media, and whether it's general media like Facebook or Twitter or more specialized things like LinkedIn or communities of practice, I think, like it or not, social media is here to stay. It can provide effective outreach tools, networking capabilities, even fundraising opportunities, and more. So we're excited about this training today. Our presenter has over 20 years of experience working with infants, toddlers, children, youth, and adults with developmental disabilities. She received her bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Mississippi and a master's in clinical school psychology from LSU. She has extensive experience with adults with developmental disabilities in residential and community-based settings. She joined Parent to Parent of Georgia in July 2007 as the PTI director and assumed the role of assistant director for the agency in 2009. Prior to joining Parent to Parent, she worked with the Part C system in Georgia for 12 years, serving as a state coordinator for 7 years. Folks, please join me in welcoming Stephanie Moss. Stephanie?
Thanks, Patrick. And let's see if I can get my desktop up. Here we go. There we go. And thank you all for taking time out of your afternoon to spend what I hope will be a helpful hour together. And I know that everybody's, probably some of you on the call are getting ready to travel to San Antonio tomorrow or Thursday, so we'll be seeing each other soon. But I hope that this will be something, I hope you'll get some good ideas out of this today, just some interesting things, and I hope we can learn from one another. I am really just going to take you through some of the things that we're doing, kind of some of the things, the decisions we've made at Parent to Parent, things that we're doing with various social media and internet tools. And we're not experts by any means, but we have slowly but surely started to figure things out and also taken a few leaps of faith along the way. And I was thinking about it last night, kind of getting ready for today. And I think we probably took that step off the cliff into just like, we're just going to try it. We're just going to get out there and see what happens. And what's the worst that can happen, right? After I went to the Region 3 conference in New Orleans a couple of years ago, and there were some internet sessions or technology kind of sessions there that I sat in on and came back and I said, we just got to do this. It's scary. We don't know what we're doing. We got to figure it out, but we just got to try. And so I think that's what we're doing, and I hope that that's what I leave you with today is, there's very, I think in our minds we're gradually coming to terms with there's very little really bad that could happen if we're cautious and we're thoughtful and planful about what we're doing. And there's a lot of good that can come out of this. So I'm just going to take you through some of the things that we're doing, and hopefully, again, hopefully you'll find some value in some of what we've learned. So first of all, obviously, I think this is where we all have been at different points in time when we talk about social media and internet and websites. And, probably very few of us were trained in designing websites, or certainly none of us were trained in all the various social medias because, you got to be barely, our teenagers and our junior high school kids, and that's who knows social media, not us. So we've all felt this way, but the fact of the matter is it's a reality that we've got to learn to live with. Like Patrick said, it's here to stay, and so how can we use it most effectively? And, these numbers are just astounding. I mean, they're staggering to us when we think about, all of the numbers of people. The world's population, over 200 million, I have to look at that, I can barely say that number, 200 million internet users and 800 million oh God, but I said it wrong anyway. 800 million Facebook users, and just it's crazy. I mean, people are using Facebook more and more. I think about when I first personally even started using Facebook, probably about 4 years ago, how scared I was. And I did it, and the next morning I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I've got to take it down. I can't do it. It's too scary. What's going to happen? You know, and we just gradually get used to it. We take a few more chances, and again, I think we really can begin to see the value. People everywhere are using, as you guys all know, Facebook and other forms of social media. And really, if you think about it, when I read this slide kind of reviewing, again, how much just in a few short years we started to see people getting recommendations of things from our friends and asking for recommendations over Facebook and over other forms of social media. So it's not just about posting pictures of your kids or some activity or something fun or your vacation, but it's really starting to say, does anybody have a good resource for this, or does anybody have an idea about that? And so there's a lot of value there going on. And so, you know, when we think about social media and we think about our website and all the various tools that we're using, we really want to sit to ourselves and say, you know, people come to the internet for a variety of reasons. I mean, some people come and they just look. They're afraid to click on anything. You know, when I think of that just look and be kind of passive users, I think of my mother, or I think of my mother-in-law. And, you know, they'll get on there and they'll kind of lurk around and look, but they're not going to touch anything because they're afraid they mess something up. People, you know, there are people that get on there and watch videos, read information. More and more people are sharing and starting to comment and really interact via the internet. And then certainly people use the internet as a place to do research so they can produce something, whether it be, you know, we do it all the time. We're producing fact sheets or training materials or whatever. We use the internet for all of these things. And so I think as you think about what you're doing, I would just remind you to think about all of these different audiences and all of these different users, and are we giving each of these types of users what they're looking for? So when we say, you know, match it to your mission, if I want families to find us, whether they're ready to watch a video or to chat on a blog or whatever they want to do, is there something there to kind of meet their needs? So again, I hope that as we get done today, as we get through this, I hope that you feel a little more comfortable at the end of the hour and have some ideas and get a little excited about some of the possibilities. One of the things we've done over the last few years, and I don't know, you know, depending on your own communities, but we have, and what you have kind of resources available. We're located, our main office is in Atlanta, and so we have the benefit of several major colleges and universities in our area, in our community. And we have actually had an opportunity over the last 4 or 5 years on 3 different occasions to be selected by a communications class or some semblance of that, you know, whether it's communications or internet, web kind of stuff. The most recent one was a business communications class at Georgia Tech. And they selected us for a class project. And what we asked them to do was actually to help us with a couple of things, and one of those was look at various types of social media, help us think about how we can maximize what we're doing. Are we using Facebook, Twitter, and some of the other tools out there that I'll talk about in a few minutes? Are we using them effectively? Could we do more? Are there some that we should just say, you know, that's not really right for us? And we also, just so that you know, we also use that same class project to help us begin to do some redesign of our database that we have available on our website where families can go and search for resources. So and completely free. They get a grade at the end of the semester. We get a product. In this case, we actually got a mock-up of a database, what it would look like on our website that families, you know, we plan to take that to a developer and actually make it happen. So I think you got to sometimes to think a little bit out of the box. Where can I get the tools and the resources? We've done that with 3 different universities and 3 different classes, and really found you're getting the benefit of some 20-year-olds who obviously are much more cutting edge and willing to take a chance than we are, but some new ideas about how you can do it. So that's one of the things that we've done. One of the things that we did about 3 years ago was we decided, maybe 4, probably about 4 when we decided that our website, and we all have to have websites, we know that, our website needed to be updated, needed to look a little more current, a little more fun, a little more just visually appealing than what we had up. We had about the same time recently redesigned our logo, and we just wanted everything to kind of flow well. And so as we talked with different techies, what we started to learn about was what we call content management systems. And bottom line is, and I've given you some examples here, Joomla, InterSpire, OpenCMS, LightCMS, et cetera. What we came to learn was in these content management systems, it's almost as simple as if you can type in a Word document, you can go in and edit your web page. Now, we had a developer set up the graphics, set up the picture. What you're seeing there is just a snapshot of our front page. Set up a lot of the headings and how the colors would look. But I could go in there right now, well, not while we're on the phone, but you get it, right now, and in about 5 minutes, I could put something new. If we have something new that's news, if we have, breaking news, this, fresh from, OSEP, or fresh from the state of Georgia, or, something happened with, anything, special education or healthcare reform or whatever, I can go in there and in about 5 minutes make an edit to my web page. And before we switched to Joomla, we used Joomla. Before we switched to Joomla, no one in the office could update the website except for one person. And we'd all have to send our edits to that person, and we'd wait, and usually a week or so later, she'd make the edits, and then it would go live. And then half the time you're going, and then same thing, I couldn't take it down in a timely fashion. It would take, a week after it was done. So I would really encourage you, if you're interested in doing something new with your website, to take a look at the notion of a content management system, because that is really, gosh, it has just freed us up to feel like we can just be kind of more changing. We can change it more frequently, be a little more dynamic. We can put polls on there, videos. As you can see, what we have not done, I'll tell you, and we've talked about it every year and we still haven't done it, is podcasts. And I don't think it's because we're scared of them. I think it's just because we don't know how. But we have definitely, we do webinars a lot, kind of like what we're doing today. We archive all of our webinars on our website. Videos, I just mentioned this, last year, we decided we wanted to do some just like cute little short snips of videos. And so in the spring, kind of around March, when you're heading into like crazy IEP season before school gets out, we sent a couple of our staff with video cameras, and we would videotape families, give us your top IEP tip. And we kind of interchanged those throughout the website over the next like 6 to 8 weeks till school got out. Then we did it again in the summertime, and we said, what are, recreation and leisure type vacation plans for families with kids with disabilities? What are your plans for the summer? What are your best suggestions? And again, we just did little snippets of videos of parents talking. We kind of went all over the state. We made sure we had diverse representation there, but it was fun and they loved it. We used a lot of our staff, but we used others, families that we knew as well, and they loved it because they got to be on the website and they got to share their tips. So that's a really super duper easy way to do that. We also, we upload our videos using YouTube. So we've created, and I don't know all the ins and outs of how to do this because someone on our staff did it, but we've created basically a parent-to-parent YouTube channel, and that's where all of our videos are housed, and we link that through our webpage, and we can, click straight to a video, and I'll show you something in just a minute that we did with some videos. So, and then I guess the other thing I would say on our website is that these, you see the Twitter symbol and the Facebook symbol and the YouTube, and then we put those little buttons on your web page too, so people see those. People are starting to recognize those more and really know what those mean. And so, I mean, this is a little bit more about videos and photos. Another thing we've done is actually when you think about photos, and this wasn't as successful as we thought it would be, but it doesn't mean we won't try it again. We actually did a photo contest where we wanted families to share photos of their kids with us that we might be able to use on the website or in training materials or things like that. And then we would offer a prize and pick even have a theme of the month kind of thing. Another thing that, so it was just another way that we could interact with families on our website and really kind of stay there, kind of in their minds. It's time, June's photo contest theme is vacations, or July is family, or whatever it is, and getting them to share videos. And we never got quite the response that we hoped for, but it is still a good way to and it didn't cost us anything, and it was just another way to try to engage with families. Okay, widgets. Now, y'all, I'm going to tell you something. I looked this up. This is a training that we've used in some other places, so am less familiar with widgets than some of the other stuff I'm talking about, but I didn't want to sound like I didn't know anything. So really it is something that helps you embed content on your web page. And the best example I could find, which is nothing related to anything any of us do, but it made really good sense to me, was on my website I might have a little button, a little weather button, like whether it's a sun in a cloud or whatever it might be. And that widget, so that would be my widget, the actual picture, and then the programming or the however it's linked, it would actually, I could access content from the Weather Channel, for example, so that if I was on Parent to Parent's website and I clicked on the weather button, I could see today's weather by clicking on my little widget, and the content would be coming from the Weather Channel. So I think it sounds a little like an RSS feed and other ways to just connect with the connect different forms of media onto my web page from another source. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we've done with Facebook. Obviously, and I suspect that this is one of the forms of social media that more of us are using than many of the others, because it's so widely used now. It's a little less scary. It's also we've got lots of friends and colleagues and coworkers that we can learn from. So we didn't have to, none of us have to figure this out ourselves. Super easy, cost effective, really, because it doesn't cost anything. You just, a little bit of staff time to set it up. In our office, in our agency, we have 2 people that are administrators, although we've had conversations about making more people administrators. It is a great way to reach a new audience, to reach more families. And there are ways that you can use Facebook for causes, for fundraising, online donations, things like that. There are Facebook ads if you're interested in actually some advertising with a cost attached, but it's really something that's I think it's got a lot of potential. So I just showed you a little snapshot of our Facebook homepage, and this was us last October when we all wore orange for preventing bullying. But you can see on there, if you've not been on Facebook, you've not looked at it lately, you have the opportunity. We've got our address, our phone number there. We can add our hours. Apparently, we haven't done that. But then people can look at our photos and other events. This is where you would find out about our webinars, things that we have going on. And then, of course, if this was a live page, you could scroll down and see what activities are going on with Facebook. But I think it is really a nice way to engage with families and for us with a lot of professionals as well. One of the things that we've had a lot of conversation about is, okay, now we've done this for a couple of years. We've got a Facebook page. We are using it. We're posting information, so we're pushing out information. But we have shied away from a lot of interaction, or a lot of even maybe, for lack of a better word, kind of discussion or debate about maybe more touchy topics or more controversial topics or things like that. And so I think that that's where we're going next. How do we really, how do we start a conversation? How do we start a dialogue? And some of it's fun. I mean, obviously we don't want to be super duper serious all the time, and you can see that. We want to have fun with it a little. But how do we begin to really, it's building a relationship. I mean, right now we have a lot of one-way relationships through our Facebook page. We don't really have a lot of chatter and conversations with families and others that connect with us through Facebook. So I think that's kind of where we're going with this. Oops. Come on. Hold on, my slide's not advancing. Sorry. Why won't my slide advance? There we go. Sorry, I don't know what was happening. Twitter. This is one, I will be completely honest, we here in our office have not, I don't think fully, well, probably not fully embraced, and it's probably because none of us use it in our personal lives all that much, and so kind of still struggling to see, okay, how's that different from Facebook? And one of the things that we immediately did, I will tell you this, is when we set up our Facebook page, is that we set up a Twitter account and you can link the two. So anytime we post something to Facebook, something comparable to that post goes to Twitter. So anyone who is following us on Twitter does get that information as well. So I think that's great. I think, but you see, it's as you probably know, short, sweet, little brief like bits of information. It does help you get it out really quickly, and again, this is one of the ones that we talked with the students at Georgia Tech about, was help us figure this out, because I think it's one of those parts of social media that I guess I would just say, if you don't use it on a regular basis, if you don't use it daily, don't use it personally, it's harder to kind of wrap your hands around. And I know there are other parent centers who do use it and probably do a fabulous job, much better than us. But it's definitely something that we kind of keep on our radar screen and are still trying to explore and figure out what we want to do with it and how we want to maximize it, because I don't think we're maximizing it. So I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. We have now for probably the second or third year had a number of blogs on our website, and we've invited parents and in various communities around our state, some of whom you see here, to blog for us. And this is one of those places where we started out being really safe. We made them one way. We made them so the gentleman's name is Ricky, so Ricky would write his blog, he would post that blog, but we made it so we felt a need to manage it and keep it kind of tightly controlled, and so it was not an interactive blog. So I couldn't write a comment to Ricky or ask him a question and have him respond back. It was simply a one-way exchange of information. He posts his blog, I can read it and go, oh wow, that's nice, or I agree with him, or wish I could talk to him, but it's not interactive. And that is something that we are absolutely about to change, because again, we're kind of ready to push ourselves a little bit further out of the box and say, you know what, let's be a little more edgy with some of these topics. Let's have some conversation, and let's really start to dialogue, and as opposed to feeling like we have to be quite so safe and so conservative with what we do with those all the time. So again, nothing wrong with how we started, but I think our comfort level is such that we're ready to really take that next step and think about how we can again be more interactive, really build some relationships and engage with folks. Blogs are super easy, y'all. There's a couple of different, lots of different software out there. I think we use WordPress, although I'm not remembering for certain right this minute. But it's really, it's simple. Again, it's like typing in a Word document. Very simple to do. And a great way to get families involved. One of the things we have 6 people who blog for us regularly, routinely, and then we have actually added a guest blogger from time to time, and we've added some teen bloggers. Now, the teens aren't necessarily always interested in blogging on an ongoing basis for us, so we might just get a teen to write like a one-time blog post to tell your story. And so sometimes it's been teens who themselves have disabilities, sometimes it's been siblings, but we've invited them to do that, and it's been great. They've really written some good stuff too, so think about that as well. Here's an example of a blog, one of our blog posts, and I thought about taking this down because I figured, do you really want to read this? And then I thought, this is so sweet, I love it, and so I left it up. So I'm just stop talking for a second, not stop breathing, sorry. Stop talking for a second, let you read it, and just get an idea of kind of what we're putting up there. This is parents talking to other parents. You guys, we all get that. So I'm going to take a sip of water. You guys read Pants by Margaret, and then we'll continue. Okay, I know that you're probably not all finished, but I don't want to delay us too long. You get the idea. I mean, y'all, families, they just tell their stories, and blogs are fun. I mean, it's a great, fun way to get to really connect with folks. So I would encourage you to think about that. One of the things that we did this year, this is the first time we've ever done it, we produced an online annual report, and we have an individual in our office who is oversees some special projects for us, and she came across an online annual report that had been done by the Salvation Army, and she came to us and said, we need to do this. This is what we need to do. I'm going to tell you what it is, and then I'm actually going to click on one of the links here and let you just see a snippet of what it looks like. We put in there, this was our first one. We designed it such that we have an introduction from our executive director and our board president, some interactive graphs and information about our financials and just some of the data about the families that we served. And then we have 4 videos of families that we assisted sort of telling their stories. And we were real selective to make sure that we touched the various age ranges, so birth to 26. We were pretty selective as far as looking at where families lived in the state and diversity and all of that, and it has been so widely received and so well received. Obviously, we didn't spend a dime on printing. There's no paper copy, but it's gone. You know, we shared it. It went out in some online newsletters. It's really reached folks in other states, and it is a great tool as we are reaching out to potential donors. And so we're getting ready to do another one this coming up year, and we'll do a different format, it'll look different and whatever. But we found someone who did, just so that you kind of know, we found someone local who did some of the video work for us, and he also donated some of his time in kind hours. We worked with an intern from the University of Georgia who helped us with some of the communication pieces and some of the facilitation, and then it was really our staff helping to pull it together. So I think that it's possible to do it. I'm going to just click and let you see a little bit about what it looks like, and then we'll go back. So this is just the cover. If you go to our website, there's a place to click on the annual report, and you can see that here's where we would see the welcome. We've got 4 stories here. I'm going to show you how one of them starts. A little bit about our financials. Let me just show you how that looks. So you can see grants, foundations, and if I click on the actual government grants, then you can see the numbers and the percentages. So that's there. And then leadership, I can't even remember what's under there. It just tells you who our board of directors is. So let me just show you, and I'm not going to show you the whole video because it will take a bit too long, but this is a story of a dad who is talking about how he came to find us as a new parent with triplets who had just come home from the hospital, and the benefit for him of being able to talk to another parent who had been through it, whose triplets were now 5, and who basically said, you're going to make it. So I'm going to show you just about a minute of it, and then we'll move on. I don't know if you can. Okay, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know how to make the sound so that you guys can hear it. I would encourage you guys to go look at it. It's a great, we're really proud of it, and we're really pleased with how it turned out. And like I said, it's been a great tool to share with community partners and professionals and agencies. And families have just been, the families that we featured were really just thrilled to be a part of it. So another great tool and something new for us as we think about what we're doing with the internet and social media. So let me see if I can get back to my webinar. Screen slides. Got it. Good. So let me just move on a little bit and tell you what else, some of the other things that we've done. We use the internet and our website for a number of ways. Again, I've talked a lot about ways trying to make it more interactive. Polls are simple. When we launched our new website, we put a poll on the front page. Tell us what you think about our new website. It was a little 1 to 4 rating kind of thing. Super easy. People like to take polls. We've done what some of you may have heard us talk about at different conferences, and you may have even heard one of our winners at a national conference, what we call the Impact Awards in Georgia. We've done these now for 4 years, I think. And when we first got the PTI in 2007, we said, we hear from families when things don't go well. We hear when things are not working well, and we get that, and we understand that. But there's good stuff going on in the state, and there's good stuff going on in our communities and in our schools, and we want to celebrate that. So we designed the Georgia Impact Awards, and individuals across the state can nominate people in the area of education or just community leadership, and all with a focus on true inclusion and what are they doing to truly promote and support inclusion of individuals with disabilities. Finalists are selected, and they have to submit this is where the social media stuff comes in. They have to submit a 2 to 3 minute YouTube video that talks about what they do, what that individual has done, who's been selected as a finalist. We generally have between 10 and 12 finalists, and then we have about a 4-week period when all the videos are on our website, and the public can watch the videos and votes for their winner, their choice for the winner. It gives us the opportunity to, let's see, let me skip down, I'm sorry. Here's the process, I'm sorry. It gives them, gives communities, little small towns that we don't even, I mean, sometimes we wonder if they remember that we're here. Little small towns get so excited. They put it in the paper. They get every kid in the schools voting, or every kid in the churches, everybody's voting from church. The first year we did it, one of the finalists was a youth minister at a large church that helped some young adults with disabilities develop video resumes. And the pastor on Sunday morning had everybody pull out their phones, their iPhones and whatever, and vote for this youth minister in church. So that was the one way to do it. There was another one, you guys may have heard, a high school principal that won the first year for us. Every kid in that entire county school system was voting for Chip Metters every day when they got home to get the process, to get him to win. This year we had over 24,000 votes in our Impact Awards. Y'all, that is 24,000 more hits that were driven, people that were driven to our website. So really and truly super easy. I mean, we've got it kind of automated down to a system now. It takes one staff person a few hours to kind of get it up and organized. And then the people who are nominating and the finalists are doing the work. They're writing the nominations, they're making the videos, and communities are voting. So it's great bang for the buck. And think about, again, 24,000 votes is just, and every one of those has to go through our website to get there. So, we're engaging with people in different ways that way too. I mentioned that we worked with the Georgia Tech kids this year, and one of the things that they came in real excited about and talking to us about, and some of you may have heard of, is Pinterest. And we have, at Parent to Parent, set up a page on Pinterest for us, and we are just slowly starting to fill in, put some information on there. It is basically like a pin board, like a bulletin board, where you can pin up things that you like, things that are on a topic. You can create, so if you look at my screen, you see books and articles worth reading, special diets and nutrition, recreation, technology, I need respite, you see the headings. We created those titles. You can create pin boards with titles of any, whatever you like, and then you can start to put things there that you like. This is not a live page, this is just a screenshot, so I can't click you through. But it's a good way to start to post really good ideas. So obviously you see the books worth reading that we liked, From Emotions to Advocacy, the Rights Law Special Education book. There's one called The Explosive Child. I can't quite read what the other ones are, but you start to see a way to do that. The other thing that's really nice about Pinterest is, and this is what the kids from Georgia Tech were really encouraging us, is that if I like something on this page, I can repin it to my own personal Pinterest page, but I can also comment on it. There's the ability to comment and start to have some conversation there as well. So it's another way to share some resources and to begin to engage with folks. And it's pretty new. I think we're still figuring out exactly how we'll use it, but I think it's something. I definitely would say this is something that is it feels pretty safe. It doesn't feel like this is too risky to try to kind of venture into this. So for us, that's one of the things that's next. Here we go again. My screen won't change. Okay, so I think the last part of what I really just want to spend a little bit of time with you thinking about is the analytics and the numbers. So what is it? So how do I know? How do I know what? If it's working. One of the things that we do at Parent to Parent, and I didn't show you a picture of, but I could certainly share, or you can find them on our website, is we have done now for a little over, about a year and a half, we've done what we call monthly data snapshots, and we actually put a little data report up each month of of the numbers of families we've reached, a little bit about the race, ethnicity of those families, how many trainings have we done, how many people attended trainings, how many people follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, how many website hits, things like that. And so we use Google Analytics and Facebook, we use those numbers that they can tell us a lot. Obviously you use them in grant reports and continuation reports and things like that, but pretty much all of the tools that I've showed you today, all of those tools have analytics and numbers that you can get and use. Some of them we use more than others. Certainly there's some that we're still kind of, finding the right kind of numbers, but I would encourage you to kind of dig in and see what you can find. The next two slides are just snapshots of what Google Analytics can, some of what they can show you. That is a crazy place to get in and really dig around and see the numbers and the things that you can get. It's crazy. So this is just from, I think, one page of our website or one, maybe it might be our main site for a snapshot of a period of time. But obviously you see how many visits, how many visitors, how many page views. You can see how much time they spend on average when they get to your site. And how many of them are new visitors versus returning visitors. So how often do people come back who've been to your site before? So again, you can really start to see that. They've got graphs and charts and or you can just see numbers. This was just fun. I think this is just kind of fun to see. And actually, again, you see the visits and the time they spend and all of that. But you can also look at this map and you can see where the visitors are coming from. Where are people coming from that are accessing your site? And digging a little deeper into the analytics, you can see it by country. It's just, and really, it's probably not the most important piece of information you need there, but it's just kind of fun, and it's kind of mind-boggling that you can get in there and find that much information. So again, I would encourage you to play with that a little bit. Once we set up our new website in Joomla, our tech person he just linked it to, or somehow linked it, set it up with Google Analytics, so we can look each month. We can look at any period of time. I do it on a monthly basis for those data snapshots, but I could do it for a year at a time. I could do it for a quarter at a time. Whatever period of time you need the numbers for, you can go in and set that date range and pops out the numbers. We kind of talked about this one before we started when we talked about the types of users that you have. But again, I would remind you to think about this. If I'm going on the internet and I'm looking for an article about autism. I know what I'm looking for. I know why I'm there. And I might go to, maybe I go to Parent Georgia's website or to PACER's website or to, another PTI's website, partner's site. Somebody's told me perhaps that I need to go there. Maybe it's Google, maybe it was a web search, but I know what I'm looking for. So that's, we know that's our users. So then as the owner of the site, be thinking about why would someone want to come to my website and what do I want them to find? And so thinking about those sorts of things, the analytics can help you think about that. And then I think it's also just really good questions to ask yourself when you're thinking about content. And we just, I think this is like this, so it feels like a lot, probably feels like, where do you begin? I know I left that conference in New Orleans a couple of years ago going, we need to do this, but where do we start? And so I think it's sometimes easy to take a step back, take a deep breath, and say, okay, let's start with, in this case, a rule of three. Who are the 3 target audiences we want to try to reach? What are 3 things we want them to know, and what are 3 ways they can get involved? So let's start with a little bit smaller and think about, kind of focus a little bit. You don't have to do it all today. You don't have to do it all next week or this year, but you want to start to think about those sorts of things. And I guess the last thing that I would actually mention is, and we're not doing this at Parent to Parent. We're not using these at this point, but as we get more and more forms of social media going, it's how do you organize it all? How do you manage to have enough people, enough staff time, enough hours in the day to manage your Facebook, your Twitter, your Pinterest, your website, all of those things. And so there are some tools out there that can help you manage your social media options. I know when I was at that conference 2 years ago in New Orleans that the folks in Florida were doing a great job of using, I think it was TweetDeck at the time. It's just another it's an app. It's a program that helps you organize and manage all your social networks, so you don't have to go to each of their different sites. You can kind of go to one place. And again, I can't talk a lot about them because we're not using them, but I do think there's some real value to think about it. If it's starting to feel like you got too many balls in the air, and how in the world do you juggle them all, I think it's time to start thinking about some of these. But you know, and I think for us the big deal, and like I said, the thing we want to do now and going forward is make sure we're really driving people to our website, bringing them back to our website, and really starting to engage with them, starting to have some conversations, starting to have some dialogue, and really build those relationships. And I think that's what's going to have the staying power for us in reaching families, in connecting with professionals, and in connecting with potential donors as we go forward. So I guess I talked fast. I'm sorry. Maybe that's good. So we have a little bit of time left for questions or comments. Thoughts, and please share your idea. If somebody's doing something really great, I'd love to hear about that too. So, because like I said when I started, we are not by any means experts. We are building this plane as we fly it, and we are figuring it out as we go. And we're happy to share what we learn, good or bad. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas too.
I have a question.
This is Stephanie. This is Valerie Wada. She is with our staff here at the PTAC.
Okay.
Question.
When you did the videos, like your annual report video, did you hire a company to do that, or? We actually
did. You know, and how we did it this first year around, we first of all we asked our staff. We said, you know what, you guys are on the phones all day. Tell us some of the compelling stories that you've heard this past year. So we started there, narrowed it down, and then we hired an individual. It was not a company, but it was just an individual. I mean, he does it professionally, but he does it on his own. So first of all, that took that kind of company overhead cost off of it. But we did hire him and pay him to do the video work for us. And like I said, he donated. He did much more work than he got paid for.
And this is Patrick. So everyone will know, I viewed the video yesterday myself, and it was excellent. It was informative. What a neat way to do a public annual report like that. And so that all of you will know, Jennifer Falk at Parent to Parent of Georgia, who had some hand in the video. I'm not quite sure who all did what over
She was the lead on the project, the entire project, yes.
She told me to be sure and tell the rest of you guys in Region 3, if this is something you're interested in, give her a call and she can get some help for you.
There you go. Good. Well, I would probably not have volunteered her time, but since she did it, by all means, give her a call.
Any other questions or comments? I think maybe we have a cell phone caller trying to break in.
Yeah.
Any more questions? All right. Well, as always, you can find the webinar we've just done archived. Once again, first of all, let me thank you, Stephanie, for all the hard work that you obviously put into this presentation. It was absolutely full of good information, and not only that, you did it sitting in the hallway. So I'm so
I did do it sitting in the hallway. Did I tell them about that? Y'all, we're moving our offices, and as you see on my last slide there, that's our new address. That'll be our new address as of like Monday. But my desk got moved this morning, so I'm sitting in a chair in the hallway. Yeah. And I ran everybody out of this end of the building so so I'd have some quiet to do the webinar. So I'm glad. I told Patrick before we started, I'm glad it wasn't a video conference because we moved furniture this morning, and it would not be a pretty sight.
Yeah, good capacity building problems you guys are having. Okay, so once again, let me thank everyone for attending the Region 3 monthly webinar. I want to remind you, please take the time to complete the survey at the conclusion of the webinar. The webinar will be archived and available for viewing on both WebEx and the Region 3 website. Stephanie can be contacted via the information that you see there or at the Parent to Parent of Georgia website. And as always, you can feel free to contact me with any problems or questions or comments you may have. One last thing, make plans to join us again next month. Our featured presenter is going to be Eileen Gilley of the Central Florida Parent Center, and we look forward to seeing you all this week down in San Antonio. So thanks again, and we will see you in a couple days.
Thank you.